By the time the World Cup reached its final weekend, the number on my tracker was $538,921. That did not come from one miracle ticket, one lucky score prediction, or blindly asking an AI which team would win. It came from treating the biggest soccer tournament on Earth like a live data system, then using artificial intelligence to process that system faster than I ever could on my own. The 2026 World Cup created an enormous amount of information. 48 teams, 104 matches, changing starting 11s, injuries, suspensions, travel, weather, tactical adjustments, and player markets that could move the moment new information appeared. A normal bettor might look at recent results, recognize a famous player, and make a decision. I wanted every pick challenged from several directions before it ever reached my card. That is where parlai became the center of the entire operation. Parlai is my AI sports betting assistant at parlai.cc. Instead of giving a general language model a vague question and hoping it understands the slate, parlai grounds its analysis in live sports context, current statistics, injuries, matchup information, and the market in front of you. You can select the AI model you trust, or have the top 5 models examine the same picks and compare how they reached their conclusions. That difference became incredibly powerful during the World Cup. Every match created several separate questions. Was a striker's shot line supported by his role, or inflated by his name? Would a favorite dominate possession but struggle to create clean chances against a low block? Was a goalkeeper's saves line based on the opponent's reputation, or on the actual shots that were likely to reach the target? Parlai could examine those questions together instead of treating each statistic like it existed by itself. My process began with the full slate. I would enter the players or markets I was considering, then make the models argue against my first impression. I did not only ask which side looked stronger. I asked what would have to be true for the pick to fail. That forced the analysis to consider minutes, starting status, tactical role, opponent shape, rest, game state, and how the market had already reacted. When several AI models arrived at the same conclusion for different reasons, that was meaningful. One model might focus on the player's recent volume. Another might notice an injury that changed his responsibilities. Another could emphasize the opponent's defensive structure, while another questioned whether the current line had already absorbed the obvious information. Parlai brought those perspectives into one place so I could see agreement, disagreement, and the assumptions behind both. The live chat mattered just as much. The World Cup moved too quickly for a static projection to remain useful all day. A lineup could be announced, a key defender could be ruled out, or a manager could change formation. I could open the parlai chat and ask how that new information changed a specific pick, rather than rebuilding the entire analysis from zero. That made the workflow feel less like reading a report and more like having an analysis room available whenever the market changed. Here is a simple example. Imagine a world-class forward carrying a shots line that looks easy because he scored in the previous match. The public sees the goal and expects the same performance. Parlai looks deeper. It checks whether his minutes are stable, whether his shot volume actually increased, whether the next opponent allows attempts from his area of the field, and whether his team is likely to spend the match chasing a goal or protecting a lead. The player can still be brilliant while the over remains badly priced. That distinction was one of the biggest advantages AI gave me. It separated predicting the athlete from pricing the pick. A player can have a great match without clearing an inflated line, and a less famous player can become valuable because the market has not fully adjusted to a new role. Parlai helped identify those differences across a tournament where public attention was concentrated on the biggest names. The system also improved because it did not simply forget the losses. Parlai can reflect on losing picks, examine what the original reasoning missed, and use that feedback to make future analysis sharper. That was essential. A loss caused by random finishing is different from a loss caused by ignoring a minutes restriction. A late tactical substitution is different from completely misunderstanding a player's role. Treating every loss as the same would destroy the value of the data. After each slate, I reviewed the result with the original reasoning still attached. If the logic was strong but variance went against it, the process did not need to be rebuilt. If the pick failed because the analysis missed lineup news, matchup context, or a change in role, that mistake became useful information. Over dozens of matches, those corrections began to compound. The number in the title came from that compounding effect. The World Cup offered a massive sequence of connected markets, and the advantage was not finding one perfect prediction. It was making faster, better informed decisions repeatedly while avoiding the picks that only looked obvious. AI gave me the analytical reach to track far more context than one person could realistically hold in their head. Parlai did not just hand me a list and disappear. It became the place where I built the slate, compared models, questioned assumptions, reacted to live information, reviewed failures, and refined the next decision. The 5-model comparison helped expose weak logic. Live data kept the analysis connected to the actual match environment. Loss reflection kept the process from repeating the same mistake. And the chat allowed me to keep pushing until I understood why a pick deserved to be there. That is how I approached the World Cup with AI, and how the tracker reached $538,921. The real breakthrough was not predicting every match correctly. It was creating a decision system that could absorb more information, challenge itself, and improve throughout the tournament. If you want to put that same kind of analysis behind your own picks, Parlai is available at parlai.cc. Choose the model you prefer, compare all 5, bring your slate into the live chat, and let the system examine the context that the betting board leaves out. The World Cup showed me what happens when elite sports data and elite AI reasoning operate together. Once you experience that level of analysis, going back to guessing from headlines feels impossible.